Welcome to another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. I'm Skratch. Today, guys, we're gonna have an ultimate beginner guide for Dragonheir Silent Gods in 2024. And this will be basically to enable you to understand the game better and know what exactly to do when you start playing. Regardless if you are starting in a new season or if you are a brand new player. This time around, I'm actually not alone. I have my buddy Van Horn Gaming on the channel to assist me with this guide. So make sure you guys head over to his channel and check him out. He is another fellow content creator for Dragonheir Silent Gods. Go and show him some love. I will pin the link to his channel in the comment, guys, and in the description down below. It's gonna be a rapid fire, guys. We're gonna try to cover everything as fast as possible because I know long videos, they get pretty boring and tedious. But before we get to that part, what's up, Van Horn Gaming? How you doing, buddy? Nice to have you on the channel.
All good, mate. All good. I'm enjoying the start of season 4. To be honest, I'm really enjoying it at the moment.
You're enjoying
How about
that Temporal Vortex competition that we're having on the side, huh?
Yeah. That's so fun. Like me, you, and Neva try to get each other every day. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, every day. What can we improve? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good and looking forward to dive straight into it. So right now, I am currently in season 4 on this account. I have a free-to-play account in season 1, guys. The reason why I'm going to do the guide from the season 4 account is because it's the beginning of the season. So it's the best way to basically show you most of the things. I do want to start with the very first thing that you are seeing in the game, and that is the camp. Right here, you have quite a few different things. You have some buildings that you're going to be able to upgrade, but we're going to get to that in just a second. The main thing that I want to talk about is the XP and how you can get XP. Now, Dragonheir Silent Gods, unlike other games, will cap your progression daily. So every single day, you're going to be able to progress up to a certain stage. Right here, this is the journal, and Journey XP is what will allow you to progress further into the game. Regardless if we're talking about main quests, storylines, etc., this right here is your almighty god that needs to be completed every single day. So you will have different chapters, and you're basically going to have to do different quests to gain Journey XP. Once you're going to complete the entire chapter, you're going to be able to reach the final progress, get more Journey XP from here, and that will eventually level up your journey level right here, which will unlock different missions, different quests. Like, for example, right here on the map, my next thing that I need to unlock is this area right here, the Corruption Meteor Field. And in order to do so, I need to reach journey level 30. Now, the only way I can do it is by waiting for tomorrow to get the new daily quests, which will be right here. So every single day you're getting 2 commissions. Super easy to complete. Make sure you're doing it as often as possible. They will stack. So if you miss one day in the game, you're not going to lose them or anything like that. They will stack actually for quite a few days. Completing 4 will give you some warm arrows, some gold, and some starlight stone dice. Would you like to add anything else on the importance of the journal, Van Horn Gaming?
Yeah, of course. I mean, on the daily quest, of course, they stack up maximum to 6, I believe.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of be on, and it's better to do it daily every day. So you progress to the next stage, you look next content. And on the task for the journal, try to look them up. And they give you a good direction in the beginning to what to level, where to go, how many runs to do. It's a good imprinting for your season, for sure. And if they're required to level 3 champions to level 100, and you can beat all the rest of the content, but you're not doing that, you're not going to progress to the next one. So keep an eye on it and do it every day.
100%. And it's very important to keep in mind that if by any chance you're going to be stuck with your storyline, with your progression, the very first place where you should look is the journal. If you completed everything, that means that the game capped you for the day, and there isn't much that you can do except go and farm some dungeons or go and test a few different things. Now we have a few different buildings in the camp, guys. We have the forge, we have the market, we have a training dummy right here, which will enable you to test all sort of different comps, if you like, different characters to see what sort of damage they do. It's not necessarily the most accurate thing in the game because some of the bosses work differently, but just to kind of like give you a grasp of how some of the characters work. I do find Dragonheir to have a pretty good tutorial.
Yeah, the first imprinting is very good.
Mm.
The only downside I think of the training camp is that you need to level the champion to see them do what they actually do. Like it should be like arena, but that's for another conversation probably. But yeah, it's important to use all the camp fully, all the buildings, the cooking station, the market, get everything and get the forge up as soon as possible when it opens up.
Absolutely. So each one of these building guys, each one, the forge and the market will have different levels. You're going to be able to purchase different goodies from here, but I already purchased everything from here. So basically, while you're progressing through the storyline, through the campaign, you're going to obtain items that can level up either the forge, either the market. So make sure you're doing it. Leveling up your forge will basically allow you to forge higher tier gear. Starting with common, then you're going to move to rare, then you're going to move to epic, then to legendary. Now, right here at the forge, there is an amazing feature that I haven't seen in any other game, and that's the equipment refinement. You won't really get to use it a lot early on, but it's a tip that you should keep in mind. You're going to be able to earn Philosopher's Stones, and these come in different rarities, will basically allow you to transform a common piece of gear into a rare. From a rare to an epic, from an epic to a legendary. So you want to make sure that you are basically using the Philosopher's Stones on pieces that matter the most, pieces that have amazing stats and substats. And I would prioritize chess pieces to start with, attack chess pieces, defense chess pieces. I would suggest you to do gloves as well, but you do have mythical gear in the game now, which will become more important on damage dealers. So that will be your main priority. Doing chess pieces, doing a helmet, doing a weapon, if you have very good substats, crit rate, crit damage, and attack, it is pretty hard to get all of the right substats. You know how the grind goes, Van Horn, right? It's pretty hard to get.
Attack percentage chest with crit rate is one of the priority for the attack sets for sure. And the best way to use the forge is to keep up with the Famy Under and the Pillar, because the Philosopher's Stone drops mostly from there. And so if you keep up with the content, when it opens up, if you have a comp to run it, do it, because those resources are useful early on. And do it everything late season really doesn't help much.
100%. Then you have the cooking right here, guys. So I will link a video with all of the recipes and everything else that you need to know about cooking. Basically, cooking food in the game means that you're going to go on the map, or you're going to encounter different vendors on the map that will sell you all form of different materials. If you fuse them into recipes, you're basically going to get foods that will enhance your stats. Either you're going to get defense, damage, you're going to get accuracy, resistance, etc. And these are absolutely extremely important in most of the content. They won't work for all of the content, but they are very, very important. So definitely make sure you're checking out that video to get all of the important recipes.
I use it early season and then they kind of get forgotten for me. I should use it way more, to be honest. I've never memorized the recipe, and I'm going to look that video that you're going to link, because it's something I always overlook. I use it early season, especially for the accuracy, and then I try to brute force the content without it. But for dungeons and story progressions, all those contents are very, very useful to use.
Yeah, 100%, especially Feymander if you're struggling with later on. That's what I tend to use most of the food usually, Then when we are talking about heroes and elemental affinities, guys, this is kind of like the next thing that you're going to see when you jump into the game. So this game runs a bit differently comparing it with other similar games. You don't have factions or anything like that. You have elemental affinities. Now, one thing that is important in Dragonheir Silent Gods is that the elemental affinities will combo with each other. So every season has something different, right? In season 1, we have Frost and Necrosis, we have Lightning and Radiance, Fire and Poison, which means that you can combine heroes from those two elemental affinities and gain elemental affinity stats. So you have 3-man elemental affinity stat and 5-man elemental affinity stat, which is kind of like intended more for mid-game and end-game. Early on, all you care about is 3-man elemental affinity team, and basically you are going to gain a lot of additional additional stats, On top of it, you have the Psychic Core, which basically will allow you to enhance those stats a bit more. So right here at the elemental affinity, it's kind of like a mastery tree, right? Like, I guess we can call it that, no?
Yeah, it's very similar.
So here you can just gain additional stats. the main thing that I would probably suggest you, and Van Horn Gaming might probably agree with it, is to kind of like focus on the core team that you're planning to build. We're gonna get to the core building team in a second, but it's just basically making sure that you are not spreading around too thin with this, because the resources early on are pretty scarce. The Affinity Solvent, you can't really gain an unlimited amount. While you are in the end game, you're gonna have too much of it, but that's another story.
Yeah. I actually, for the first season, agree with you. Last time we did this collaboration talking about the Psychic Core, I was saying that for me, because I didn't have such a strong account, I was kind of spreading out and getting all the affinity up to get to the bosses all at the same level. But now that I have such a predominant team that I'm using pretty much in 90% of the content at the moment, I can see the power of that, and I'm focusing only on one. And so it also depends a bit on your account, but generally speaking, yeah, just focus on your strong comp, your strong team, and that will get you all the rest of the content, will get you more resources back, and so it's kind of a circle.
100%. And one thing that I forgot to mention at the very beginning, guys, when you are picking your character, you're gonna be able to pick from a few different classes. It's all about cosmetic. It won't affect pretty much anything, so don't worry about it. You will be able to select an identity at some point. Again, it's not something that will really make it or break it. It will give you slightly more stats on wisdom or intelligence, depending on what you're picking. I went with the archaeologist. So right here at attributes, you will be able to enhance the attributes too. So honestly, it doesn't really matter what you're picking in terms of these things. It won't really make a massive change. Now, when you are picking your main character, you will have basically the ability to change in between elemental affinities, to swap. So you have fire, you have frost, you have lightning. In season 1, you're going to end up in using this character. I feel like after, it's going to become pretty useless. You're going to get better characters, and it's just not a good character to be used. So season 1, yes, use the character. It's always good to switch in between the elemental affinity to build up your 3-man elemental affinity or 5-man elemental affinity team. Each one of them will do slightly a different thing. Fire for damage, frost for support, lightning for control and a bit of damage. And you can switch at 0 cost whenever you guys want. So that's one thing to keep in mind with the main character. Now, when we are talking about the actual heroes and the way you are kind of like prioritizing to build your team, we have tanks, we have debuffers, we have damage dealers, we have healers. There are a few revivers in the game too, but they're not too many. So you always want to ensure that you have at least one good tank in your team. What is kind of like the main thing that you are prioritizing when you are building your very first team at the beginning of the season, Van Horn?
Well, I always look for, a tank that can make the team survive longer. So you're looking for that decreased attack, healing factor. So, in epics, the two stands out always, Garius and Furbat.
Yeah.
Those are the two main one. And then obviously if you get legendary, there are many others. But yeah, a strong combo, even like a Garius Aldrich is really good. They work really, really well. They keep your team alive for long. And then I'm looking for another support, possibly a multi-hit to place the decreased defense, and 2 DPS that work well together. Also, depending on your affinity, you go one way or the other. But for me, like you, this season has been Radiant and Lightning because, well, the new champions also, new shiny toy is nice to play with them.
Yeah.
And I went hard on that so far. But there are many options. There are many good champions out there.
Yep. And one thing that I want to mention, guys, so each one of the elemental affinities has a different school of damage. So in season 1, you're going to start with one type of school of damage for each one of them. Every season, you're going to gain a few additional schools of damage. If you want to maximize the damage, the potential of your team, you got to pair them with other characters of the same school of damage. So right here, we have wild characters. You see, Erich is a wild character. This is a free legendary that everyone will get. You want to pair him with another wild character to kind of like try and get as much damage as possible out of them, regardless if he's an epic or a rare or a legendary. You have Rash, another wild character. So you want to basically pair them in the following way. You have Burn. You want to look for another Burn character to kind of like complete each other, So you're going to have to basically do a bit of a brainstorming, check some of the skills, but it's going to be very, very important. So one quick tip that I want to give you guys when you are building your team. The 3-man elemental affinity team is not necessarily the most important thing in the game. You can beat different bosses, stages by not using a 3-man elemental affinity team, just by looking at the mechanics. But the main thing that I would suggest you, the tank damage dealers should be from the same man elemental affinity, just to create the core 3-man elemental affinity team to gain the extra stats on them. You're gonna deal more damage, you're gonna survive more. While you can slide in supports and debuffers from different elemental affinities, because they don't necessarily need to have those additional stats to survive. They're just there to get the job done and debuff or support your team. Very important to keep that in mind when you are actually building your team, you know?
One important thing to say, I think, is also that the 3 elemental affinity applies only to the affinity, the champions of that affinity pairing.
Yep.
So, you know, you're giving attack, defense, accuracy, all of that good stats. But if you bring 3 champions of Radiance and Lightning and 2 Necrosis, the Necrosis one will not have the accuracy. So if you need to build a debuff applier, like a decreased defense, that will need to have much more accuracy to get to the points where you're running that dungeon, basically.
Yep, a very good point right there for sure. When you start playing, guys, in the first 6 days and 12 hours, at upgrade the heroes, at the section where you upgrade heroes, you will have a little button that will allow you to reset all of the resources invested into the heroes except the scrolls. So if you invested scrolls to upgrade the skills, you cannot get that back. But all of the XP potions and the materials to rank the characters up can be reset, which gives you a massive advantage early on, because you can play around with different characters and constantly reset them, getting your resources back, and don't waste anything. And then after the 6 days are gone, you can decide, okay, I summoned better heroes from this elemental affinity, I'm gonna stick with this one. So very important to take advantage of that. Now, quickly talking about scrolls, what's your advice on scrolls, Van Horn?
Well, prioritize also decrease attack, like if there is a 25% additional to bring to 100%, that is a good priority. Anything that brings those debuff to 100% is, for me, the first thing that I look for. And you can get away with less scrolls in the DPS in the beginning. They are more for the end game when you try to push hard damage. Anything that reduce timing on specific champion that you need to run, for example, 18 seconds for certain bosses, so you need to speed up their ultimate ability, and you're using maybe some skill haste to bring it down to 18 seconds. Starting from 23 is really hard. Obviously, if you bring it down to 20 with 3-second reduction, that helps a lot. And so those are the things that I'm looking for first.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I always tend to scroll support heroes first. Be very, very careful with the way you are using your scrolls. You're not going to get tons and tons of them. And make sure you are scrolling important characters. Don't just quickly throw them at all of the characters that you're getting. Do a bit of research. Check out the tier list to see basically what characters are actually good enough and worth it to invest your scrolls on. One quick tip that I want to give you guys to understand a bit the stats and to understand how to read if a character is good. If you click on this little diamond right here at details, you're going to be able to see their multiplier. So you're going to see exactly what sort of stats a character needs in order to deal damage. So right here we have Ogok as an example. Heals all allies, and it heals the allies based on attack and enlightenment. Now you do need to build this character with attack and with enlightenment to maximize this skill and to get a bigger healing. Now, if you don't know what all of the stats do, if you click right here on the actual stats, you're gonna have basically this page opening up, and it will explain you what each one of these stats does. Like enlightenment affects the value of derivative damage or becomes the coefficient of some skills directly, increases the hero's derivative damage, etc. So heroes that deal derivative damage will require enlightenment in most cases. So keep that in mind as well. Skill haste is like speed on our characters here. It will speed up the ultimate energy, which means that you're going to be able to use your skills, battle skill and ultimate skill faster. And basically, you can check all of the rest of the details by clicking on that little section. Then, talking about gearing and artifacts. If you want to take the lead on this with the gearing, Van Horn, early on we have 2-piece sets, right?
Yeah.
How important do you think is to try and maximize the skill haste by using the same sets, like four pieces of the same set early on from the epic gear?
It's really, especially in the beginning, stats is over gear sets for sure. But the skill haste is the kind of an exception, because when you're pairing two pieces, for example, of this blessing set that you're bringing up, it has skill haste, 20 skill haste and HP. There is one set of the attacking one that has attack and skill haste, or there is one with accuracy and skill haste. So when you combine them, you get 40 skill haste straight away. And that will speed up your ability massively. Until you get access to the runes, there is no other way except the artifact to gain more skill haste. And the artifact that give you skill haste are basically mostly two of those that everybody should have at the beginning, which is the hourglass and the horn. They have skill haste as a sub.
Yeah.
But except for that, those are the only way you have to speed up your ability. And in those dungeons where you need to get below 18 seconds again, you're going to have to use them.
Absolutely. So you have 2-piece gear sets and you have 3-piece gear sets in Dragonheir. Plus you're going to have a 1-piece gear sets once you're going to unlock the mythical gear. Basically, once you unlock the legendary gear, the main way on how you want to build the characters is 3-piece sets. And then you're going to have one extra space. Now, either you're bringing in a mythical piece, either you're bringing in a broken piece from a different set. That's absolutely fine. One thing to keep in mind, you cannot do 4 pieces of the same legendary gear set and gain the bonus stats from using two-piece. It doesn't work like that. So if you want to get 40 skill haste, you're going to have to use, for example, a legendary set of 2 pieces from attack and skill haste, and a legendary set from skill haste and HP to gain that 40 skill haste. Very, very important to keep that in mind. Gearing is pretty simple. Every season we have new gear sets that are basically doing a few different things, but overall they're pretty much the same cup of tea. Quick fire question for you, Van Horn Gaming. The best 2 legendary artifacts that you should get early on. The very first 2 legendary artifacts that you should pick. Keep in mind, I'm talking legendaries, not mythicals, because they changed them recently.
yeah. The X Epic. I think the first one will be the Crown of Clean. Because it gives you access to that decreased defense, even if it's a single target, but it's increasing your damage a lot. Probably you should go with the Eyeball to increase your damage. You should go with the Incense Burner to reduce even more your ultimate after the first use, and have more another option for accuracy, which helps a lot. For your tank, you should go with the Scarab Amulet, which helps with the defense percentage and the shields when your tank drop below a certain percentage, especially if he gets the protection set at some point. Those things are helping quite a lot.
100%. So these are the very first 2 legendary artifacts that you should pick. I picked the Crown of the Unclean, Spiritual Incense Burner, then I went over to the Eyeball and the Scarab Amulet. In this particular order for my free-to-play account, I found them to be very important to be able to manipulate my ultimate energy, use my skills more often, because I don't have scrolls on all of the characters, so it was actually a pretty big upgrade. Now, in terms of mythical, guys, let's just assume you summoned a dupe legendary. The very first artifact you should get is the Witch's Remains, no questions asked. AoE defense down, the only way to do it is this artifact, and it's going to increase your damage by a lot, plus you're going to get a lot of accuracy. Now, this is going to be a bit of a debate probably here. What would be the second mythical artifact that you would get if you have Garius?
Well, even if I had Garius, I think I will go with the Hourglass anyway. Because the Hourglass unlocks so many things. Like Garius shield with a combination of the Gatekeeper stuff is powerful, but in the beginning it's very, very difficult to get. Those legendary, maybe you have not many scrolls. You pull a legendary, you want to use it, but you can't fully scroll it because maybe it's your second one or something. The Hourglass, Rift Hourglass is powerful because it reduces every skill haste between ultimate and battle skills. It makes champions that you need going much, much faster. I will probably go with it, but it's a close call, and I will argue that maybe, on second thought, maybe I could go even gatekeeper stuff. So
I feel like both of them are pretty solid. The thing with the Gatekeeper stuff is kind of like extremely good, but if you have Garius, it will generate a massive shield. It will give you skill haste as well. Rift Hourglass, extremely powerful, when you don't have a lot of scrolls on your character. So I feel like all these three are very, very good. If you don't have Garius, definitely go with the Rift Hourglass. If you have Garius, close your eyes, do mini, 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 mo, and whatever comes out of these two,
Exactly.
pick that one, because it will be very, very helpful, you know? So that's
But
pretty
also,
much...
I feel like
Go on, sorry.
Also, I feel like the Gatekeeper staff gained much more value
In
after
season
season
2.
1 in
Yeah.
particular. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are many more E-layers that can use it, and so it's not just a Garius exclusive. If
Yeah.
you want, you know. So yeah, I don't know.
That's what I would pick
As
on
we
my
said.
free-to-play account. If I get another dupe legendary, Gatekeeper staff will be the one. But that was all pretty much in terms of building characters, elemental affinities, and everything that you need to know about that. The next thing that I want to talk about is summoning, because I know you guys want to know when to summon, what to save, what not to save. So when you start playing, guys, you're going to have a banner right here, the Heliolite summons. You want to summon up to 80. You're going to be able to do it absolutely fine, completely free to play in Season 1. That will give you a random free legendary at 80 summons. Then, keep in mind, all of these banners that look fancy here, that have a timer, they will have a different mercy. Avoid summoning on each one of them every time by using 5 or 6 dice, because it's pointless. If you're not hitting the mercy, you're just throwing your dice away and you're reducing your chance of summoning legendaries. The summoning chances are right here. You're going to be able to see exactly the drop rates. It takes you 35 to get a guaranteed legendary. So if you're not prepared with 35 Heliolite dice to go in on one of these banners, don't do it, because you're basically... you might mess it up. You might not get lucky to get a legendary, and you're just wasting 30 Heliolite dice without guaranteeing yourself a legendary. Very, very important. So you can have a few different ways on when to summon the Heliolite dice, but we're going to go over the banners in a second. Starlight summons, open them. Don't stress about it. It's going to be very important, especially early on. Once you are in Season 2, Season 3, you're going to want to be a bit more careful with what you're opening all the time, because you're going to want to preserve some of them for the next season to have a lot of Essence of Creation early on, which will level up your artifacts. But early on, definitely go and open them. We have no events for these ones. We only have events for the Heliolite summons.
Yeah, even the Starlight, I think after half of the Season 1, you should start saving them up, because at the beginning of Season 2, you're going to have access to powerful champion, and in particular, the Capel, Frozen Capel,
Yeah,
the Ice
Ice
Blast, Bleeding, Bleeding and Gertin, which are game-changing for Season 2, especially if you are a low spender. Those are very powerful champions, so consider saving some up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing on my main account. I'm saving them after half season to get ready for the next season, just to be able to get a lot of Essence of Creation as well. But one quick tip that I want to give you about summoning, guys, and events and stuff. If you go to the event, at upcoming events, you're going to be able to see all of these summoning banners coming to the game and all of the events. Now, we do have every season one guaranteed legendary event, which if you are prepared for it, you're going to be able to put your hand on an amazing legendary hero, except the Season 1. You can skip that one. Don't worry about that legendary is not a good one. But Season 2, Season 3, Season 4 will have amazing guaranteed legendary events. I strongly suggest you to prepare for them. You need to save at least 40 Heliolite dice for this. And then, of course, you will require quite a few teams to use in the event. But the safest spot is 60 Heliolite dice for these events. And I strongly suggest you to prepare for them in Season 2, Season 3, Season 4. Now, another quick tip that I want to give you guys. When you have the blast summons, these they usually start at the middle of the season. These ones will work a bit differently than the other summoning banners, like the Celestial ones, because here you're going to open 25 Heliolite dice and you will have the chance to earn an epic selector chest, which will allow you to pick any of these epics on the banner. Okay, so this will allow you to snipe your most wanted epic character. That's exactly what I'm doing on my free-to-play account right now. I'm actually looking to snipe a Frerbart. So I'm constantly looking at the hero overview and be like, okay, where is that Frerbart? Where is the character that I want? You can summon, you can get a legendary, maybe if you're lucky. Again, I would still suggest you to have 35 prepared for it, to try and go for the mercy for a legendary. But at 25 summons, you can pick any of these epics. So definitely keep that in mind if you're lacking one of the key epic characters in the game. Very, very important. Are you doing this
Yeah, I
by
did the
any...
same.
You've done it, yeah?
Yeah, I did the same in my account. Season 1, Season 2, I sniped those epics that I needed. I got Forbat from the banner. I got Iola by the end of Season 1, I think, if I don't remember wrong. Those powerful epics that really game changing. So it's clever to just wait, and use the resources smartly.
Awesome. So right here on the world map, guys, we have dungeons, we have domains, we have teleportation spaces, we have arena, we have a co-op game mode, the Outland Rifts. Make sure you invite somebody to do this because you're going to gain some additional rewards. It's a pretty fun one, pretty easy to do as well. The main thing that I kind of like want to point out right here, guys, what to prioritize early on. So the very first thing that you should prioritize will be the Goblin layer. In the first 2 weeks, the main team that you're building should ensure that you are able to farm the highest possible goblin stage, because this will allow you to level up other characters. This is the area from where you are getting the XP required to level up your characters. You have the domains right here, which will basically be the materials that will allow you to rank your characters to the next star, and this will be very important too. Keep in mind, if you are going with let's just imagine that we have Frost and Necrosis right now. That's my main team. If I want to farm the Frost domain with that, I'm going to have handicaps. I'm going to deal less damage and I'm going to take more damage. So in order to farm this, you need to prepare ahead when you have the free reset for the first 6 days and swap in between elemental affinities. Farm the right elemental affinity for your main team with a different team, then reset it, swap back to the main, and then you can farm for the other team in the other domain without having reduced damage and take additional damage from these bosses. Pretty important. What would be the most important dungeon to prioritize early on, Van Horn? After the Goblin and the domain?
Well, I usually start from Grave of Curse.
Grave of Curse.
Yeah, because protections on the tanks, it's massive. And then I mix in the Grave of Venom to get those attack pieces. But I usually start from Grave of Curse.
Gotcha. So I would say that I would start from the Grave of Curse too. Grave of Venom opens 1 or 2 days earlier, right? So you will have to farm a little bit there. But the main priority should be on a dungeon that will allow you to push higher on the rest of the content. And how Van Horn said, if you are getting better gear for your tanks, you're going to be able to push higher in the Grave of Venom. And then you're going to spend most of your time in here and in the Goblin throughout the season, to be honest. Because getting damage gear is much harder than getting support gear, because you need the perfect substats, crit rate, crit damage, attack. You guys know the drill is the same in every single game. Now, we do have alliances. Definitely join an alliance as fast as possible. You actually have quite a few things that are important related to the alliance. You have alliance versus alliance PvP, and basically one where you're doing tournaments and you're scoring points. Both of them give decent rewards, but the main thing is you're gonna get rewards from the Temporal Vortex every single day. Like you can see Van Horn Gaming smashing it right here on top 3, because I haven't done mine just yet. I'm about to knock him down in a little bit, but basically you're gonna collect you're gonna collect rewards, and are pretty important. Plus, you have an alliance shop, but we're going to get to the shops in just a second. Now, how important is to prioritize the Temporal Vortex in the first week, in your opinion?
It is pretty important if you try to compete for the leaderboard. I would say that if you are early on and you don't feel like you have a strong account, maybe you start free to play, you can kind of get away with not pushing too hard from the start. The resources are decent, but not crazy. I will focus more on getting my comps working, getting the domains, getting the ability to level more champions, and then you can focus in the second, third week more on the Vortex. If instead you push it and you are someone that has a very competitive account, Vortex early on is quite good.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. If you're not planning to compete like a madman on it, guys, don't stress about it. I know in other games the clan boss is very important because of the resources that you're getting from there, but here it's not giving you anything too spectacular, so I wouldn't make it my main priority early on. I would definitely work on the Goblin, work on the domains, work on the Grave of Curse, Grave of Venom, and after, in the second week, I would look at, okay, maybe it's time for me to try and build a team with the characters that I already have leveled up, plus let me just level up one or two different characters that complete each other and allow me to push higher in the vortex. That's what I would do with the Temporal Vortex. Then we have PvP, guys. PvP has a few different game modes. It actually has 3 different game modes. It is worth doing it because you're getting pretty decent rewards every day now. They changed it, and we do have an arena shop, which is actually pretty important because you can purchase a lot of goodies from there, you know. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Build your best team. Once you level up one character to the maximum level in arena, all of the rest of your characters that you have on your account will be maximum level, so you don't have to level them up. It's an amazing feature that Dragonheir has, and it definitely allows you to try a lot of comps for PvP. I'm a massive fan of the whole thing. In terms
especially in 3v3.
Yeah, especially in 3v3, where you need a lot of characters, which is not unlocked just yet. All of these game modes, they gradually unlock. In terms of events, so we do have quite a few different ones. The hard training is like a weekly event. You are getting some goodies from here, and basically it all depends how much you're farming, and that will basically show your rank. If you're farming a lot of dungeons, etc., you're going to be able to rank higher, and these are the milestone rewards, but then you're going to have rewards for ranking. Then we have different events that last for 2-3 days. Ace Challenger, this is a PvP one. You gotta play arena. Cave Rider, you gotta go and do some dungeons, and you're getting decent rewards from here. I would like personally to see more rewards, more events, and more rewards in the game. You know, would you like that?
Yeah. Also because those are the only 2 places where you really get a lot of auto battle, double run, and the bread, which are easing the grind so much.
100%. So I would love the developers to release more events throughout the season. This is pretty much everything in terms of events. Now there is one more thing that I quickly want to show you guys. Hopefully we haven't missed anything important. The exchange shop. So from here you can purchase the artifacts that we discussed at the beginning. Which ones you should prioritize. You can purchase them by summoning dupe characters. Okay. Then you have the arena shop right here. All the seals that you are earning from playing arena will allow you to purchase different goodies. Now, at the moment, we only have the regular arena unlocked, so we only have these rewards. Once the other game modes unlock as well, you're going to be able to purchase other goodies as well. You can get Heliolite dice. You're going to be able to get scrolls. Now, there is one legendary artifact right here that costs you 50,000 gladiator seals. Sorry. This resets every season. So if you're not saving enough in a season, you're not going to be able to keep it for the next season. Very important to keep that in mind. And I would strongly suggest you don't purchase the Starlight Stone Dice from here early on. Only when you have a lot of Gladiator Seal loaded on your account. The main things that you should purchase is the Essence of Creation, but the cheaper one, which I already bought, the discounted version. Heliolite Dice, and if you can purchase scrolls, and then look at the rest of the rewards. Then you have the Bard's Banquet. I'm going to let you talk about this one.
Oh, this one is good as well. This one is when you do the weekly task, the bosses that spawns every week, and you gain those pages that are going to be spent over here. And obviously you should prioritize the legendary scroll, but you get much more resources, so you can get away with buying also the epics, the starlight dice, and the rare, especially early on when you're building up your account. This is really, really important.
100%. So I would say once you're in the mid game, you're going to get enough resources, probably from like week 3 or week 4, you're going to get enough resources from here to purchase all of them. Never purchase gold from here, guys, because it's a bad deal. The Alliance shop, again, don't purchase the gold, don't purchase the iron. You can purchase the Starlight Stone Dice and the Essence of Creation. And that's about it. That should be your main priority. The rest of the rewards from here are not great. But if you are really struggling with something and you are looking for a bit of gold and you have an excess of Alliance Silver vouchers, then you can do it. The ore pack is not worth it, in my opinion, to get them from here. Just not worth it. By the time you unlock Alliance level 10, we are already loaded with legendary gear. Then Battle Shop will basically be the shop for the guaranteed legendary event, which starts on the second month of the season. From here, you can purchase different goodies as well, and this currency will only be usable here, and you can only earn it throughout the event. And we have the season shop. Again, this is a shop that will unlock only in the new season. So your season placement will basically earn you pure sand core. Now, from here, based on your ranking, you're going to have different tiers, bronze, silver, or gold, with different resources that you can purchase. So usually getting the scrolls, getting the Heliolite dice, getting cosmetics if you care about them, getting the War Arrow is going to be pretty important, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and then from season 2 onwards, you know, you're going to have also the champions for the previous season. For season 3, actually, when they introduce
season 3, I think.
So,
I think it starts from season 3, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be good as well. But yeah, prioritize, obviously, scrolls, dice, all those things.
Yep, and that should be pretty much everything for today's beginner guide. Right here, you can see basically like a map of everything that happens. This is a seasonal game, guys, in case if you missed it. So right here, you're going to be able to find out all of the details in terms of how well you are doing on the seasonal placement. You're going to be able to see what rewards you're getting, how well is your competition doing. You're going to have different leaderboards for dungeons. The faster you defeat them, the faster you defeat them, you're going to be able to claim some rewards from here as well. But if you want to see the reset rules, what resets, what stays in the next season, you can check it from here. And you're going to see the
don't be surprised.
Yeah,
don't be surprised at the end of the season, because you're going to lose everything. All the gear you farmed, all the level you built on your champion, that's going to go. Your artifacts are going to stay with you. Your champions, your scrolls you put in them. Some resources like dice and other stuff will be with you. Some will be refunded. But yeah, you're going to restart basically from 0 or close to 0.
Yeah, so all of the important resources are going to be kept in terms of summons, in terms of War Arrow, in terms of scrolls, artifacts. They're all going to be kept on your account, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. You're going to lose the levels on your characters because we're starting fresh in a new season, in a new competition, basically, and we're going to have to farm new gear. But usually they are changing the set, so it makes sense. Thanks for being on the channel here, Van Horn Gaming. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I know it went way longer than we intended to keep it, but I'm going to do timestamps so you guys can actually just easily navigate through the video. Make sure you guys
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, was a pleasure to have you. And make sure you guys head over and check his channel out, guys. Much love. Appreciate all of you guys watching. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.